welcome back. This is our 42nd, number 42. 42, Paul.
Not bad.
Pretty
Not
awesome.
bad at all.
Welcome to the official EFF Podcast. My name is Todd Bailey. I'm your host, and the guy who is more important than I am is Pablo, our producer.
Just doing what I can here out here, but good to be here.
If it wasn't for you, this would not be around. Hey, we want to thank our sponsors as always, 123go.io and Tabby Entertainment. They are been around with us for an entire year, and we actually are on our year, Paul, so thank you for all that work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We aren't quite at the 54 episodes, but we are at our year, which is exciting.
Yeah, we had a couple weeks off, but hey, it's all good.
Oh, yeah.
On today's show, we have the NFL Combine week starts today, or actually yesterday, but today also. The salary cap NFL news is always big out there this time of year. I attended the FSGA last week in Las Vegas, and I had a great time. We'll hear a little bit about that.
Mm-hmm.
And we have two segments we're going to talk about today. One of them is our players to remember. We're going out on a limb, and we'll hear about this stuff about 8 months from now. We'll see how we did.
Yeah.
And then our new segment we're going to do called Pick One. And then we also have the prices and the values for the Extreme Exchange 2025 has been released. Pablo.
Not bad.
Awesome. Hey, all that and more coming your way into. See you soon. Okay, hey, first, I got to make sure everybody looks above my head, wherever that thing is. Our logo. You might see a recent change.
Yeah.
We do not have the L anymore. We are the EFF.
Extreme Fantasy Football. We've switched it over, and hopefully you guys are all here to appreciate it. It's just a small change, but it's a big change that we're making over a lot of things.
It is.
All of a sudden, small things can become very big.
Isn't that amazing how that is? Small little butterfly effect kind of things.
Right.
Man, yeah, you see that our logo has changed. And also above my head, you'll see that our website is now extremeff.com. We've dropped the L because in 2025 now, we are going to be more than just fantasy football leagues.
Exactly, yeah. We are taking a step forward, we think, into opening up new opportunities within fantasy football. So we're excited about that.
It is pretty cool. So now, again, we do have Extreme FFL still right now, but Extreme FF is a new website we're going to have. So fantastic, great news. But let's get into other stuff going on in the NFL.
The Combine.
Combine.
Absolutely. Getting right into some NFL's juicy news right here.
So the NFL season actually starts yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So after the Super Bowl, you get like 2 weeks reprieve, and then all of a sudden you're back at it with the Combine. And although today and tomorrow, yesterday, today, and tomorrow is going to be more of the interviews, the testing that they have, some of the brain testing, and then you also talk about some of the workouts, lifting, and that kind of stuff. But the on-field workouts don't happen until Thursday. So all that's kind of cool to watch, and we will, of course, recap all of that coming into next week's show. But Paul, I remember last year we talked about the same kind of thing, and I want to get your opinion on this because every year it's happening, and you got these top players who are not going to perform at the Combine. And I think we discussed this last year, and I was like, I'm kind of against it, but let me get your fresh take on if you're out there, you're going to be a top 10 pick. Do you go out there and you try to improve your stock, or you just take it what it is and don't show up?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's trending more and more in the direction of people valuing their position more than risking it, right? And it's killing me a little bit inside. To be honest, like I want to see people get out there. I want to see people push their boundaries, and I want to see people break records. Like, how is that going to happen if everyone who is the quote unquote the best in their position is sitting it out? Additionally, like, we want to get excited to know the potential of these people with the teams that they're going on to, and it's not the same looking at high school tape and then college tape and comparing that to trying to predict what they're going to be like in professional.
Right.
It's just not that simple. And so these metrics that we have for the Combine are specifically designed to give us this information. So it's hard to see when people sit out of something like this. Personally, I disagree with it, but it does seem to be trending more and more in that direction every year. So
yeah, I mean, obviously it would be really bad if somebody pulls a hamstring, when they're doing a 40-yard run or their shoulder gets hurt when they're doing the long passes. I can understand that, and trust me, I am sympathetic to that kind of a thing happening, and it would suck. But man, like you said, I want to go out there and I want to watch people run. I want to watch Travis Hunter get out there and run the 40-yard dash and see just how well it was. I want to see Cam Ward throwing the ball 70 yards because he supposedly he can. I want to see it. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a little bit selfish for me to go that direction or not, but it's something that I feel kind of strong in. Now, if you're going to be a top 5, even top 10 pick, okay, sure, you're not going to perform. You want to pass, and you can say, hey, there's a lot of tape on me, like you said.
Sure, right.
But if you're, borderline upper first round, lower second round, or you're trying to improve to go from the top 20 to a top 10 pick, then yeah, you're going to be there and you're going to perform. But for me, I actually enjoy watching it. I think it's great seeing all these players doing in more or less controlled environment things.
Right. I mean, it's crazy to see it. I mean, we got the defensive linemen coming up first, I think, defensive linemen and linebackers.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to kick off a combine, to be fair. Like, those are some amazing monsters who are doing some incredible tests feats of strength and tests and just gauging from it. So just seeing the people going into it and potentially doing really good from it is a huge level of excitement. And this is part of the deal is that if you're going to be one of those top players and you want to make more money, then this is a good way to demand more money. This is a good way to get into a position where all of a sudden you can start getting some more hype built up around you.
Yeah.
Do some marketing at that point. I don't know, like do some PR stuff, get out there. And it'd be a lot easier if you have some good sort of things under your belt, good PR stunts like this under your belt.
Right. Now, there's a lot of talk about who's going to be the first overall pick, and still many months, or a couple months away before that draft happens in April. So things are going to change with free agencies and whatnot, and certain teams' needs. But I'd love to see a second or third tier, quote unquote, quarterback, running back, edge rush, whatever it is, get out there and say, "Damn it, I'm going to become the number one. I'm going to kick their butts. I'm going to run that 40-yard dash faster than they do. I'm going to throw the ball farther than they do. I'm going to hit that that shuttle run faster than they do." I want to see that, but you're not seeing that. You're seeing those second or third top players kind of sitting still and, okay, well, I'll be still a top 10 pick. I won't risk injury. But I would love to see somebody go out there and be the, I'm going to kick your ass and go.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks to see people who are more scared with like what they have to lose than they have to gain in these opportunities.
Yep.
You're supposed to be top players, right? You're supposed to be big dogs on the field. Get out there and do what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
How often are you throwing a ball? You're worried that you're going to throw out your shoulder?
Yeah.
How often are you running and sprinting? You're worried that today is going to be the day that you throw out your hamstring? It's just not, it's not a likely scenario. But what is a likely scenario is that if they do poorly, they're going to lose a lot of money.
Yes. Yeah.
And so they're not going to risk that. Why would they?
Right. I understand. I'm the selfish kind of guy, I guess. I guess
we're selfish as fans, Right.
I want to see it. I want to see those guys. And like you said, I want to see who's going to beat the 40, who can beat Xavier Worthy's 4.21 last year.
Exactly. Right. Booyah for Xavier Worthy, man. He really kicked it off this year.
Yeah, he's a good rookie. So
absolutely.
All right. So NFL Combine. So we'll break that down next week, and we'll see what all the hype is about certain people and who maybe gained and whatever all the pundits, all those superstar announcers who are never get a thing right. Todd McShay or Mel Kiper. Good God. I mean, they're sitting here doing mock drafts 3.0, mock drafts 18.0.
Yeah.
And they're not even right even on the day of the draft. Next pick. Well, they're going to pick this guy, and it's not happening. So you and I can probably do as well as that. In fact, may even have us do a mock draft and see how much better we do over those guys.
And then we'll do an AI one and see if AI.
Oh, good job. Yeah, the AI, the asinine idiots.
This way we'll know if they're any better than AI.
And maybe they're not.
We might find out they're not. Yeah.
maybe not. Hey, all right. So also in the NFL, we will get to some of the news and some things happening also. But the most recent and biggest news is the salary cap has increased even more than they thought it would increase.
Okay.
Back in December of 2024, they had estimated between 165 and 175. I'm sorry, 265 and 275 $1 million for the salary cap. Well, now it's going to be between 277 and 281. So 200. Let's just say $280 million salary cap.
Wow.
That's pretty amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's per team, and there are 32 teams.
So that's like 30 million more, or like 25 million more than they thought they were going to be getting.
Well, it could be from 65 to 80, so $15 million more than what the minimum is going to be. So, I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, and again, that's times 32.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see how big this money making machine that the NFL is.
Yeah.
So to do that, right?
Man.
So what we have here is I jotted down some of the top hits, salary cap hits for the players, and then a team that is under and a team that's over the cap.
All right. Okay.
All right. So those Dallas Cowboys.
Sure.
And
I
don't think we're big fans, are we?
I actually this season I had no major issue with the Dallas Cowboys
because you had this guy. You had Dak Prescott on your team, didn't you? You did. Yep. I know. Well, it's documented very well that I'm not a fan of the Cowboys, but Dak Prescott's hit this year. Now remember, the entire team is $280 million.
Okay.
His cap is 89.9. Let's just say $90 million.
Wow.
So his cap is $90 million of $280 million. There's $190 million left for the other 52 people on the roster.
Yeah.
And I believe, I don't have it written down here, but I believe CeeDee Lamb is like $30 million. Okay. So there's $120 million of $280 million in the salary cap in Dallas Cowboys alone.
Wow. Well, at least they're getting that additional 15 because that is going to be helpful. It's going to go a long way here.
They need that. And they're trying to sign Micah Parsons, who's going to be, arguably the highest paid non-quarterback, probably for sure the highest paid defensive player coming out. Okay. So, can they keep Parsons?
Man.
I don't know, but man, that's a lot of money tied up in one person, or even two if they include CeeDee Lamb in that.
Sure, right.
But
I mean, especially since he was not a top tier quarterback this last season.
He was
not.
Be
completely honest,
and he never has been.
Right. Yeah. Let's be completely honest here and say that he was. He started off okay, Started off, had a couple good games in there, and then teetered off pretty hard.
See this? See
okay.
this? See this?
I can hear it too.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
You're all good.
This is the quarterback exchange values, which we'll get to a little later on. But Dak Prescott is $66.60.
Yeah.
That's just so you know, the highest priced quarterback is $196. So you'll get to hear more about that later on. But
he's struggling.
He's struggling.
The ultimate statement, right?
He's struggling, and you're paying $90 million for a struggling quarterback.
Yeah.
Ain't happening for me. So now there is one team for sure that could afford that.
Okay.
New England Patriots. They are $123.9 million under the salary cap.
Wow.
So they have roughly 150 million in change already tied up in their players.
So they got someone real bad in charge of their accounting. Is that what's going on?
Well, all those guys from the Patriots heyday back.
We just read through your TPS reports, and we just found out that we were 120 million under under what we could have had.
Yeah, now they do have some rookies. The young team. I don't have the actual age of the average Patriot player, but they're pretty young, and they got a rookie quarterback in Drake May. So that's also so they do have the ability to spend money now. $123.9 million approximately to get to spend for this year's cap.
Well, that's good. They can make some moves with that.
Yeah, so that's exciting. So again, that's kind of typical for a team that didn't do so well.
Yeah,
to typically have room because you probably have younger players. You probably not paying for the big bucks for certain things. So New England, I guess, is in a pretty good spot. But you know who's not in a very good spot? The New Orleans Saints.
Oh.
They are $61 million over.
Over?
Over.
Oh.
Over.
Over. I see. Okay.
And one of the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks as far as salary cap is Derek Carr.
Okay.
He might not be playing there this year. So they have to get rid of. They got to get rid of because he's got a big salary cap hit. He's the quarterback on a team at $61 million over cap. So it's going to be one of those. I don't know what the word is. Cuts, I guess, just flat out cut him or something.
Trimming the fat there. Yeah.
Yeah, good job trimming the fat. Good job. Give it applause for that.
Yeah. All right.
Job,
okay. A little pat myself.
Good job, Pablo.
Yeah.
Trimming the fat. Yeah, Derek Carr is one of the top paid quarterbacks on a team at $61 million over budget. So they have a challenge coming up.
They do. That's an interesting predicament, especially later on with the point that we're going to be bringing up. So
you may have solved their concerns.
Yeah.
You may.
Maybe not.
So you could go ahead and you can play GM. I'm not sure what the GM's name is down there in New Orleans, but you can go down there and you can play GM.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, a little side trivia. Do you know why the colors of the Saints are black and gold?
Black and gold, colors of the Saints.
Any idea?
No.
You know? Well, the Benson family, not going to be a long, drawn-out thing here, but the Benson family who owned, probably still own, the Saints, they were big in oil.
Okay.
So what's one of the words that describe oil? Black gold. So oil is black gold, and that is the there you go. You are welcome. All of you can go ahead and email me. Congrats.
Yeah, there you go. Now you learned something today.
You did.
Right?
So the Benson family chose black and gold because they're big into oil, and that's what you call oil, black gold.
That's good to know. That's cool. That's cool.
Do you feel smarter?
I do feel smarter. Here, drop one of these.
Booyah. Bam. Booyah.
There you go.
Booyah.
All right.
All right, Pablo. So I love Las Vegas.
I was about to say, you just went somewhere.
My
You
dog.
just did something.
My dog, his name is Vegas.
Yeah, amazing dog, by the way. Great.
Thank you.
That's a great puppy.
He's 10 and a half years old, too. He's getting around. Half shepherd, half husky. So great dog. Sheds everywhere, though.
Oh.
Everywhere.
God, yeah, that's a rough.
He does.
challenge.
He does that. So but we had a chance to go to the FSGA, which is the Fantasy Sports and Gaming Association conference last week at the Circa. By the way, the Circa is a phenomenal hotel down in the Fremont Street area. So if you have not gone to Circa yet, this is a shameless plug for them. I'm not getting paid at all, but it is worthwhile to go. I'm looking forward to seeing it in the summertime because one of the guys who was there took a picture of his window, and there's huge screens, TVs at the pool area called Stadium Swim.
Okay.
I can see that being a pretty cool place to be sitting out there. And,
to watch some games?
Yeah, or something out there, yeah. So,
okay. Cool stuff.
Anyway, so at the conference, typical conferences aren't that exciting. You know, you go and you do blah, 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 shake a few hands, have a few drinks, maybe, whatever, maybe have a dinner with somebody, but it's not that exciting.
Right.
But when you go to a conference that's pretty much all fantasy sports, NFL people, not players, but NFL people who like football, and sports betting in Las Vegas, that's an A plus B plus C plus D equals awesome. So...
Yeah, absolutely.
Did that math work out right? I think I did.
I think the math tracked, yeah.
I think it did. So when you go to this conference, FSGA, and they've been around for quite a while, it's everything from startup companies, you know, people who've been around like a few years like us, to big dogs like Underdog and FanDuel were there. They had NBC sports president. Matthew Berry was also there. He's from NBC and ESPN. So a lot of cool people were there, but it was just, man, that world, that fantasy sports and sports betting world is amazing. And everybody was super cool, but I sent you a text when I was there.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had a little fireside chat.
Okay. And
I had with these guys, and I'll tell you who they are in a second, but I had a chance to meet two of them in person for about 15 minutes. And it was great. So I do have to give them a shout out. But the fantasy footballers.
Fantasy footballers. Oh, hell yeah. All right,
number
we'll
one.
get one of these here for that. All right.
Yeah.
We're fans of them.
the number one, from what I understand, fantasy football podcast.
Yeah. Super cool.
Now, I have to admit, I don't listen to their show,
Ah,
but I think you do.
yes. In fact, I've told you to listen to their show before.
Well, yeah. See how I
But
listen?
additionally, yes. Yeah, I've listened. I like their show. They're great. They got really good content. Definitely.
So it was cool to have the three of them sit down and, again, a fireside chat. We're all kind of huddled around them, and they were just in cool chairs, reclining, and just talking about their experiences over the past 10 years of being a podcaster. And
Right.
they all work together, and they would get together at lunchtime and have a football chat. And then they decided to make a podcast back when podcasts weren't even hardly around on football, and they just did that. And then over time, they got bigger, and better and better and better and all that. So
Wow.
it was actually cool. And I had a chance to find two of them later on and pick their brain. I told them, hey, we've only done 40, 41, and now we're at number 42. So, they were like, oh my God, that's great. They gave me a high five and shaking my hand and wished all kinds of good luck. But they said, one thing you're going to do is you have to figure out how to become entertaining and educational. So this is our first experience of trying to be educational and entertaining. How are we doing?
There you go. There you go. We're throwing it all at you.
Boom, boom, boom. Now, if you want to be entertaining, you can have Paul sing because he can sing really well. I can dance, but that's probably not what you want on this podcast.
Right. I think we'll try to keep it focused towards this fantasy football.
Okay, all right. Well, we won't get into that quite yet, but
Yeah, we'll see.
so, there were two underlying themes that were out there, and of course, being in Vegas, the number one theme was sports betting.
Sure.
So it was pretty cool, and talked to a few companies regarding that. And like I mentioned, we don't have the L anymore on our leagues because we're trying to become a year-round NFL and fantasy football format source.
Right.
So
right.
we might even have hint, may have some betting line advice coming up down the road too. So it's kind of cool to talk a little bit more about sports betting. But one of the things that we really need to address, and we talked about it last week on our podcast, but even sitting there at the FSGA, was women in sports and the amount of sports bettors and fantasy players that are female.
Yeah, definitely.
It is the biggest growing population of fantasy sports players and sports bettors.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to all the women out there
Yeah,
who
I'd love to see it.
playing. So we're looking at
Get out there, join some leagues, have some fun, jump
Yeah.
into the world of fantasy football. It's a blast.
and kick those guys' butts, right?
Absolutely.
Like if you recall, number one reason why they were playing is they wanted to challenge men and beat the men in a male-dominated experience
This
or
is
sport.
This is the perfect field for that. Come on in, show us what's up.
Yeah, yes. And there were, it was strongly male-dominated conference, but there were probably 10, 15 women there that were attendees.
Cool. Yeah.
And you talk to them, and they were talking fantasy. They're talking sports just as much as you and I would. So I give a shout out to all those people, all those females out there. So
Yeah. Back when I was working in radio, actually, I remember meeting a lot of women who knew various sports, especially sports that you wouldn't think about. Like there was Veronica Rates. She's out there in the Ann Arbor area.
all right,
She's really cool. And I remember she was talking about, I think it was, oh man, now I'm back and forth between NASCAR or like boxing, but I think it was NASCAR. I think she had a lot of knowledge on NASCAR. And there used to be a little playground thing that we would do every Sunday on one of our sports stations where we would talk about various sports. And I just remember that, you'd be surprised with the random knowledge that anyone could have on sports that you might not know anything about.
right.
It's a crazy world out there, and there's a lot of people with a lot of knowledge.
Well, we actually may have a female coming on our show, coming forward for a few times, don't we? Possibly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was shocked that you may have Kathleen popping on here, Kathleen Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she made a comment yesterday about knowing that Joe Burrow apparently bought the Batmobile.
Yeah,
I
Joe
did not-
Burrow
I did-
buying the Batmobile.
Who knew?
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Maybe we need to have that kind of a female perspective and share something that we don't know and
That kind of female
and
perspective.
educate
Right.
us, right?
Exactly, right. Well, we want to educate you about the potential Batmobiles being bought out by these football players. We need you to know.
Exactly.
And we got you.
Exactly. Hey, that's all about the cool stuff. So, anyways, hey, good time FSGA, and we'll hopefully have some changes coming to the Extreme Fantasy Football website for you going forward. But again, overall, it was fun, and I definitely left more money there than I brought home.
Oh, well, that's a common thing over there in Vegas.
Well, that's why the hotels and casinos are so big.
Right.
Because people tend to leave more there than they
You just
home.
lose it behind,
Yeah.
misplaced all that money.
We did have a really nice dinner at Top of the World at the Stratosphere Hotel.
Oh, that's cool.
Strat. They call it the Strat because it's the Strat. Anyways, 108 stories up and one of those rotating restaurants. So it was.
Wow,
really
could
cool.
you like see the curvature of the Earth or anything? I mean, I think any flat earthers out there might be a little disappointed.
Yeah, you just triggered off about 1% of our people, which is like 0.4. No, but you know what was really cool is I had not seen the Sphere.
Oh, sure, right.
That's the Sphere, and it was really cool to see that. I think it's quite distracting. I could see going down.
Sure.
Whoa! I could see that. But yeah, it was cool to be there. I love Vegas. So it was a nice trip, but we'll see how things happen with some new possible partners with the EFF going forward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. That's cool. Well, then it looks like we can jump into a new thing that I want to talk about here.
Yeah, do you want new soundbite or new music intro?
We don't have anything new for it, but we could throw in one of these just to kick it back to our fantasy.
I like that. That's a cool sound. It's a cool tune.
Oh yeah, that's our classic right
You
there.
mentioned the vibe a while ago, right? And that's got cool vibes. So.
Oh yeah. So all right,
your
now-
new topic.
players to remember. All right. The goal of this topic is to give some information that is hopefully going to be valuable, hopefully, right? And then ideally 8 months from now, right after the season starts up a little bit, maybe a couple weeks into the seasons, we're going to revisit these exact players and we're going to see if we predicted good things or if we were way off on our predictions and where these players are at then.
Right.
We suspect, though, that these players should be good, should be beneficial for you guys to consider in the future as the news for NFL starts to build up more and more and other things start to become distractions and headliners. So just so you don't forget these players, trying to put these names out there before they go.
And you're saying that the rule is that we can't pick Barkley, for instance, right?
Exactly.
He's already going to be the star, right?
Right, because people predict that already, right?
All right.
No one's super confused about that, but yeah. And we'll see. I might not have the best ones myself, but we're doing what we can.
I am going heavy on one team, so we'll get to that in a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. So,
all right. Well, then let's just
go ahead.
positionally
You go first.
through it. Yeah, we'll go positionally first. All right. So I'm going to go Sam Darnold. I think that right now he is at a point of contention within the Vikings, but this was his first full season as the starting QB. And since having that first full season, because I think at least in the last few years, this is his first one that he got to really get consistent play every single game, and I think that he took him a lot farther than people expected someone like Sam Darnold to take him. And
so do you feel he's going to be around in Minnesota next year?
Do I feel like he will be? I don't know. I cannot say with confidence either way.
Okay.
But do I feel that he has potential if he does stay? Yeah, absolutely. I think that he has a good growth rate with this team and that he can do something good. I think that he's got 2-3 years maybe of potential that he could work with for them. But they might have some restructuring, and if that does happen, I could see Sam Darnold or Darnold. Yep, I could see him.
Darn old. Wow. All right.
Right. But I could see him doing pretty good. Additionally, we'll see if some trades and drafts end up. If they don't hurt him, they might help him in his team. So we'll see.
Well, I'm old enough to remember when Sam Darnold came out of college and he went to the Jets. And I think Jets and Chicago are just quarterback hells. So he didn't do well. Fresh out of USC, great talent, goes to the New Jersey Jets, doesn't do anything there. Bops around a few times, and then goes to Minnesota, which is already a pretty good team. Anything you have Jordan Addison and some guy named Justin Jefferson. Do you know his name, Paul?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's all right.
If you have those two guys to throw to, you're probably going to do pretty well.
Yeah.
And he had a good defense to keep him in the game. So he definitely, and actually I had him on my roster this past year on my traditional league. So I shout out to Sam Darnold. I hope he stays. I think it'd be great having him stay. I think he'd be a good mentor to McCarthy. And I think what's going to see is McCarthy's going to get kind of woven into that lineup and see. But hey, great guy. He's a good guy, too, so I have no problem with Darnold. I'm just glad he didn't perform against the Lions when he played in Week 17. So I'm going to go out. I'm not really on a limb, so I might have to back this up with a second person, but Bo Nix. My quarterback is Bo Nix.
Sure, right.
And he had a phenomenal second half of the season, so that's why I'm saying it may not be worthy of going out on the limb too far.
But he is still a fresh player. So.
He is. And I think Sean Payton, his coach out there in Denver, does a great job. You know, he had that Drew Brees guy.
Wait,
that Drew Brees guy. Who?
Wait a minute.
Oh, that
He's
guy.
your Hall of Famer.
Drew Brees? Drew Brees. Sean Payton. Wow. Touchdown, Drew Brees. So Sean Payton, obviously he's the coach of the Broncos, but he was the coach of the Saints for a while. And I think Bo Nix has potential to be a phenomenal quarterback. He runs, strong arm, and he's actually pretty old. He's one of those COVID college players.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think he's played like
COVID.
6 years.
What do you call that? Like red jersey or whatever? Red flagged? I don't even know.
Red shirt.
Red shirt, yeah.
Red shirt. Okay, now all of us who have ever seen the replacements are now red shirt. Red shirt. Okay.
Red shirt.
Red shirt. Red shirt is the college freshman kind of thing, basically redshirted. But anyways, COVID made him allow to play longer year. So, anyways, I think Bo Nix is my quarterback. But if I do have to go on the line of a really underrated one, I'm gonna pick Bryce Young.
Really?
I think he's due.
You think Bryce Young after the last season?
I think he's due. I think he's going to get some help. Chuba Hubbard is a good running back, and I do think that Xavier Legette is a good receiver. So I think Bryce Young is going to be one of those guys who are under the radar who might perform better than you think.
All right, well, I would love to revisit this one because I myself am a little bit doubtful of Bryce Young. I think that last year I had some hopes a couple times, and they were quickly shut down. And at the end of the season, he started to do something. So we'll see if he can go in stride with that.
We shall see.
Yeah, we will.
All right, running backs. Who you got?
All right, so for my running back, this also might not be crazy, but Kareem Hunt. Definitely, I felt like he wasn't any of the standout running backs throughout any of the weeks, really. But he became one of those running backs that were reliable and leaned on when the chips were down for their team. And I think that is one of those things that become very important for a team's overall success, even though it's hard to measure through just a general statistic of a single player.
Right.
So I think that Kareem Hunt has that ability to affect his team and really help out. And he became a standout player within the regular season when I was trying to look through his stats on his team. So good stuff from him. I think that in the regular season, when people aren't as tense and people aren't as super prepared for every single matchup and every single play, I think that he has a lot of room to shine and can be a great pick.
Yeah. Currently, he's playing with Isaiah Pacheco.
Right.
For the Chiefs. So I guess we'll see what happens, who's going to get that nod. But everywhere that Kareem Hunt has gone, he's done well.
I think I know. I think Pacheco is good. Don't get me wrong. I think he's an incredible runner, but I think that Kareem Hunt is a sleeper. Don't let him go.
Okay. I like that. My pick is Chase Brown. Huge fan of this guy. Huge fan. One of the fastest players in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
He's a running back for the Bengals, and he just dominated. He just took over from Zach Moss. So I'm a firm guy. I mean, man, Chase Brown. He's from Illinois, so shout out to the Illini, Big Ten out here. So that's awesome.
Yep.
And he's got a twin brother, Sidney Brown, back. I think that's a back for the champion Eagles.
Nice.
So Chase Brown is my pick. I'm looking forward to seeing some big things from him. And I actually had a chance to have him in my traditional league too, which allowed me to win.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say, he did really, really good.
He did.
He was very good.
I like him a lot. So good job there.
Absolutely. That's not bad. All right. So then over to the wide receivers. Starting us off, I got the Chargers' Lad McConkey going on here.
He's phenomenal.
Oh my God! I mean, especially in his performances during his or performance during their individual playoff game that they played. He was 197 yards when I checked out the stats on it, and the whole team's total yards were like 270. So, he did very, very well and definitely pulled together something. But even regardless of that particular game, he had a growing performance ratio the entire season. And and just watching him become more and more of a pivotal player on that team was, I think, undeniable.
Yeah.
But definitely fun to watch regardless.
Well, he played for the Georgia Bulldogs, and I had a chance to watch him kick our butt at the Orange Bowl. We drove down to Miami, watched Michigan Wolverines and the Georgia Bulldogs, and Lad McConkey was everywhere. And it's like, oh, God. But, man, the guy got some skills. Give him props that's a solid pick there, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to go with another rookie, Romeo Odunze.
Okay.
Roma Odunze, excuse me.
Yeah.
From Chicago. And not that I'm a big Caleb Williams fan, but I'm a big, I guess I'm Ben Johnson fan. He was the Lions OC. He famously now is the Bears head coach. So, good luck, Ben. So I think he's going to do some good things there. But Roma Odunze, who actually I had a chance to see against Michigan in football too. Wow, I'm a little theme here. When Michigan beat Washington at the national championship down in Houston. But Roma Odunze is my rookie, or is my receiver to keep an eye out for next year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. And also, I really want to see Caleb Williams start to do something good with them. I think he really struggled.
Yeah.
He was very high and low base player this last season. And so it'd be nice to kind of see him stabilize in a good position.
Yeah.
And I think that Odunze is a perfect opportunity for that.
Yeah.
All right, so then going into tight ends here, kicking it off, I like Zach Ertz. I figured there's a lot of good ones, and I was really close to, I think, Jonnu Smith.
Yeah.
For the Miami
Dolphins, right?
Dolphins, yep.
Yeah.
So I was really close to that one, but ultimately I pulled the trigger on Zach Ertz because he was someone that I had myself on my league, in my standard league, and he was one of the few tight ends that I was actually impressed with for the entire 2024 season.
Isn't it funny how the players that you pick in your traditional league are ones that you actually like and actually, I think he's going to be good.
Right. Well,
be good.
You get a little bit more of a take on them
than
most people do. So
Yeah.
I think as a sleeper, maybe not full sleeper because he's definitely like top 10, but as someone to consider if you don't get that first one.
He's been around a while though. He's up there in age. So I think with Jaden Daniels over there in Washington, I think he's opportunity to shine, but he is long in the tooth. He was originally with the Eagles. And when Dallas Goedert first came into the scene,
right,
and then when Dallas Goedert become a little bit better, or whatever it is, Zach Ertz went to Arizona, and he actually had a little stint in Detroit. I don't think he got on the field, but he was on the practice squad. But then now he's in Washington and doing well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I think that this idea is partially funded by Jaden Daniels' success. So I think that plays a big role as well into Zach Ertz's utilizability on the team.
I'm putting it out there. I was on record. We can go back and we can prove it on our things. I commented about how Jaden Daniels be the best quarterback of the class, right?
You did?
I did that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's due for a sophomore slump. The sophomore slump is a legit thing.
Look at you.
CJ Stroud 2 years ago, all world, Hall of Fame, all that kind of stuff, right?
And putting this energy out there into the world about a sophomore slump from a potentially great quarterback.
I think you're going to see a sophomore slump. Now, it doesn't mean he's not going to be a good quarterback, but
yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, my tight end, I'm going to stay in the Bengals. I'm going to pick Mike Gesicki.
Okay.
Gesicki is a guy who's been around for a few years, who's down in Miami. He's ex-Penn State. Again, shout out to the Big Ten.
Gotcha.
And he's when you have Joe Burrow, it just makes the team better, right? Mm-hmm. And Joe Burrow he bought Batmobile, apparently, from what I understand.
Right.
we just learned about.
Apparently, he's not doing bad.
He's not doing bad. But I don't know. Mike Gesicki is a really good tight end that has not been highly touted. He's by no
Mhm.
means going to find him in the top 10, but out there. But Mike Gesicki is going to do well this year.
Okay, absolutely. A good, consistent pick on a good team.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Well, speaking of teams, we're talking about offensive teams right now. Going into my offensive team, I chose the Saints. Now, the reason that I chose the Saints isn't necessarily because I have full faith in them doing better, but I
Okay.
do think they are at a pivotal point where we will find out one way or the other how these trades go off, how their team situates, if anybody can really take control of the talent that they've got on their offense, and if anyone can pull out some sort of stabilization and make their defense consistent as well.
Yeah.
So
I think if they get rid of Derek Carr, that's going to be a big thing because he's not it.
right. He's not the one who's worth
And we know that
the amount that they've got on him.
we know that they're buried in salary cap. We understand that. So
Right. Buried in red tape? I don't know. I don't know.
okay, back to the red again. Right. We got a little theme going on here.
Right.
No, the Saints are going to be good, and I think they're going to find a new quarterback, which might be a little bit of a segue to our next topic, pretty soon. But I think the Saints are going to have a new quarterback out there, and it's not Spencer Rattler. He's not going to be it long term.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be someone else. It's going to be a veteran, somebody in the 37 to 41 year age. I'm thinking. Oh wait, I'm not. A little segment early there.
Oh yeah.
I already mentioned Bo Nix and what he has going on in Denver, so I'm going to pick the Denver Broncos for my offensive team.
Denver Broncos, yeah.
I do think Cortland Sutton had a phenomenal year last year as a receiver. Jaleel McLaughlin, Javonte Williams, running backs are good out there. So I'm all in on what Sean Payton is doing with Bo Nix, and the team out there is going to be doing well. So I'm looking forward to Broncos being my little bit underdog.
Okay, yeah. So I was looking around at I like that. I think the Broncos got a lot of good potential for them moving forward. And I think they've got they did really well this season as well, considering the fact that they had Bo Nix, who was fresh into it. So
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think they've got a lot of potential as well. I totally agree here. But moving into defenses, I got the Bengals as my first defense. And
Hey, Bengals.
Bengals, I know we got a lot of love for the Bengals here this
We do.
time around. We'll see how they do, but
We do.
I guess we got faith in them. But for me, I think that all they need is like one other maybe pivotal defensive player to have a really, really good defensive lineup. I did some like stat looking into here.
Yeah.
They got Trey Hendrickson, who alone had 17 sacks.
He may not stay there though,
No,
but there's rumors that he may try and go elsewhere. Maybe the Lions, but okay,
Sure, right,
The guy's a stud.
well, if they hold on to him, absolutely.
The guy's a stud.
That guy is incredible. I mean, they have Jermaine Pratt, who I checked out as a linebacker, who is leading the team with tackles as well as interceptions and fumbles to boot right there. So he's got 4
Look
turnovers.
at you doing your research.
I know. Well, that's because I was trying to figure out something helpful. So and then
Wow.
the last one is that they got the
Educational.
safety.
Educational side, right?
Exactly. They got the safety Geno Stone with them as well, who is
Wow.
great on the coverage. So I think that all they're really missing is some sort of X factor to really push them down to success on defense.
I
And then-
think the Bengals, they're playing in a tough conference or a tough division when you got Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, and as well as the Steelers. But the Steelers are going to take a step back this year. They just fired Mike Tomlin. Did I hear that just recently?
Did they?
The Steelers, if they do, that'd be a shocker. I thought I heard that they're going away from Mike Tomlin. And the Browns.
Interesting.
Browns is just blah. So anyway, I think the Bengals got a good chance to actually go in there and win their division. I'm staying in town. Defensively, I'm picking the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
They had crap. How much more crap stuff can you have happen to a team on defense?
My God, yeah.
It was ridiculous. So it may not be going out on a limb because we know that if their players are healthy, and whether the Lions pick up a Hendrickson from the Bengals or a Myles Garrett from Cleveland, possibly a Micah Parsons from Dallas, if the Lions take that next step and get that person, I think they're going to be all world. So I'm picking the Lions. Hopefully the injury bug stops. It does not ravish that team I did earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
But, so Lions for me.
Okay, yeah. checking it out, it looks like Pittsburgh Steelers have decided not to fire Mike Tomlin as of
Okay.
As of the 13th. So
Oh,
who knows?
okay.
Who knows?
Well, we'll get our crack team on research over here checking it out for us.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we'll find out more
report
later.
later on. So.
But just to go back to the Lions, absolutely. Yeah, I got a lot of faith in them. I mean, high expectations.
Yeah.
A lot of potential right there, but they've got to bounce back from all these injuries and got to stabilize well.
There is the rumors of trading Kirby Joseph and some picks to Cleveland to get Myles Garrett.
Okay.
So that might be a thing. I think Kirby Joseph is the best safety in the football. So that again, that might be do you replace him with somebody? But we'll see. But go Lions as always.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's get to that news segment that we're gonna kick off. You got that rockin' music, that head metal banging. No, the head metal banging.
Oh, you want this one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Start thrashing over here.
All right, yeah.
Back
What's
when
the
I was
segment?
young.
What you got?
We have a new segment called Pick One.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've touched on it a little bit a few times in the past year, but I'm going to give you the chance to pick one first.
Sure.
So
Okay.
we're going to talk about these old guys. We already kind of maybe give a little hint a few minutes ago regarding the Saints. But I'm giving you a choice. You take a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers or a 37-year-old Matt Stafford and tell me where they will play next year and why.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go with Stafford here.
Okay?
I think if I was going to talk about Rodgers, it might just sound a lot like I just want him to be out of the game. So I think to keep it all hopeful and positive, we're gonna talk about Stafford. All right. But I think that Stafford as a quarterback is incredibly good. When I was checking it out, apparently he's going to be requesting somewhere around $50 million for his for his salary cap.
Yep.
So we'll see what people are able to make that stunt to make the move. But that being said, the teams that I could see him going to would be the Steelers, the Raiders, the Vikings, and then ideally I think would be the Saints. But I would have to go with the Steelers. I want him to be on the Steelers. I think he could do cool stuff there. I think he could do cool stuff everywhere, to be fair. I think he's a great quarterback. But I'm going to lean on the Steelers. And if I wasn't, I would say Vikings, but only because I want Sam Darnold to be staying there and kind of kick it in gear and work with JJ. I'm going to say Steelers. Stick to it. I want to see Stafford go over there and make some moves.
So on 225, you're picking Stafford to go to Pittsburgh, right?
That's what I'm picking.
All right. We'll revisit that in about 7 or 8 months, see how you're doing there.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
I mean, $50 million for Stafford is a lot of money, but the guy still performs.
Yeah.
I did hear also that the teams are looking for a first-round draft pick to replace him.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought with Stafford, and which is kind of similar to Aaron Rodgers, is, all right, so if I'm going to give up a first-round draft pick, I probably should be a lower first-round overall pick, right? So I'm probably going to be a better team.
Sure.
I wouldn't give away a top 10 pick for a 37-year-old guy, right?
Right.
So if I'm going to be in the 20s to 30-ish range first overall pick, and I'm a good team just missing a few things, had some injuries that maybe bit me in the butt a little bit, potentially like the Lions. If Jared Goff wasn't around or if he was going to be going elsewhere,
right,
Matt Stafford could walk in, no relationship to the past history of the Lions, but just Matt Stafford could walk into a really, really solid team and perform well and do very well.
Yeah.
So I think he wants a solid team that would be able to walk in and do well. He's not looking to rebuild.
I think the dream scenario for that would be the Saints. If he could be in anywhere, I think that someone like the Saints, where you give him a running back that can also catch well, like Alvin Kamara, you give him, the threats that they have, just the talent on their wide receivers that I can't think of off the top of my head right now. But but if you give him their good wide receiver front and if you give him that opportunity, I think he could absolutely take advantage of the Saints and make the biggest difference on a team like that.
Yeah.
I think so. And I definitely think that he'd be better than Oh my God, I want to say Derek
Derek
Carr.
Carr. Yeah, Derek Carr.
Derek
Yeah.
Carr. I think he'd definitely be better.
Just so you know, guys know that I know what I'm talking about here. Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed.
Chris Olave. Yeah. Okay.
Shaheed,
Yep.
Yeah.
And Shaheed.
Shaheed.
Yep.
Rashid Shaheed. And Juwan Howard is his. Juwan Howard at football or basketball for Michigan. Juwan
Yep.
Johnson. Juwan Johnson. Wow, that was bad. Maybe
Well, we're in Michigan, and
edit
Juwan
that out,
Howard
will
is
you,
in
Paul?
the area. Yeah.
That little faux pas out and the thing there. So
We'll fix it in post. Yeah.
there you go. And just put one of those ant kind of things. So you chose Stafford, so you're sticking me with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
All right. So
All right.
we know that I'm not a big Rodgers fan, right?
No.
And I think I might share your sentiment about having him just go away.
Sure. As
But
you could. Yeah. Yeah.
but since this thing is where he's going to go and and why, I would love to see Aaron Rodgers go to a younger team, with a quarterback that he can mentor. And
Okay.
I think, I'm going on record here right now. Now, I don't think he would go here, but I think it'd be great
Ooh.
if he did it. I think it'd be great if he would go back to Minnesota, go to Minnesota.
Yeah, go to the Vikings.
Then he could go back into Green Bay and kick Green Bay's butt.
Oh, sure. Right. Okay.
And he could teach McCarthy how to play, right?
Mhm.
I think Rodgers would be a much better quarterback mentor than Sam Darnold would be.
Right.
So that
Yeah.
would be a case where I would like to have to happen. But for me, to where I think it's going to happen, he's going to go back out to L.A. or to Las Vegas. I think he'll
Go to the
be
Raiders?
a Raider going out there soon, and I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked at all if Devontae Adams would end up back on the Raiders team.
Okay.
Now, I'm going on the limb there because I don't know if they're getting along as well as they want to be getting along. But
Sure. Right.
the Raiders have nobody. They have Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew.
Mm.
Okay, well, you need a quarterback. So
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
and they have a decent team. So if he goes out to Las Vegas, he could be the man. They're going to pick a quarterback in the draft. Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, Jackson Dart, whoever's going to be, some young quarterback who would need to spend time anyways behind him. So I think Rodgers will end up in Las Vegas mentoring one of the young quarterback rookies.
Okay. I like that. I like that actually, and I could see it. I think that it would be really cool to see him in front of J.J. McCarthy on the Vikings.
The Vikings.
That'd be cool.
But again, if he just went away,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be upset at all.
I would not lose any sleep.
I would not at all. I mean, 41 years, yeah, okay, whatever. But, 41 years old. But
yeah,
move on, dude.
not
Move
trying
on.
to knock his accomplishments by any means, but absolutely,
Yeah.
let's let some young bloods take over.
So, all right. Well, that was fun, Paul. I like those segments. The players to remember, we'll see how we did, and then the pick one, and we'll continue that going forward.
Yeah.
Now, for some breaking extreme exchange news.
Okay. Oh, let's do a little bit of this. Exchange news. What's going on?
All right, so the values, the initial offering values for a 2025 exchange leagues are now available.
Mm.
They'll be on the Extreme FF website when that gets up and running completely.
Oh yeah.
With all new changes. But I have
I
some
think it'll be like
highlights here.
August 22nd that people are able to officially pick their lineups, and when these prices will be like fully accessible by your portfolio.
Yeah. But you'll be able to see them sooner than that. But yeah, August 22nd is when you're allowed to go out there and buy the players.
Right.
So we had made a little change, though. Made a little change this year.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, we've had the lowest initial offering price of $20 for anybody. So nobody had a value of less than $20 when the season began.
Okay.
And famously, we had Christian McCaffrey at $207 and change last year.
Yes. Yeah. Just over $200.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, this year we decided to implement a maximum value also.
Okay.
So we end up having 4 people who are on the maximum value over $200 street value,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll give them a $200 price to buy.
Yeah.
So we'll get to some of those as we go on this season. But I want to rattle off quickly because our time's running out here. The top players and their prices for 2025. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so take a shot in the dark. Who is the top quarterback? See how you do.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yep. Jalen Hurts.
No. Lamar Jackson
Lamar Jackson.
is $196.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. So
All right.
there's that. Top running back.
Okay.
Who do you think?
Saquon.
Yep. Yeah. He actually is $200. He actually is, I think it's 207 or 208 overall, but $200 is Barkley's initial price.
Okay.
Receivers.
Jefferson.
No. Think Bengals.
Brown.
Jamar Chase.
Oh, right. Chase Brown is the running back. Yeah.
Jamar Chase is 175.
The other Chase.
The other Chase. Yeah. Jamar Chase Brown. There you go.
There you go. Right.
It's one of those Wheel of Fortune before and after clues. Jamar Chase Brown. Okay. All right. Tight ends. This one may not be quite as obvious. Think West Coast.
Oh, tight ends?
Tight ends, West Coast.
Oh, Kittle.
49ers.
Yeah.
$179.
Okay. 179.
Yeah. The highest price player / team in the league next year is this team on the offense. Whose offense do you feel is the highest value? That's still coming in at $200, but they're $241 is their actual value. Whose offense do you think it will be? Whose offense?
Yeah, go Lions.
Go Lions. The Detroit Lions. $200, Detroit Lions offense. There you go. And lastly, defense. Who's the top? This one may not be as obvious.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about the top defense.
Top defensive team at $145.
All right.
AFC division with the Chiefs.
Okay.
Snowy, mountainous area.
Oh, yeah, the Colorado Broncos.
The Denver Broncos. Yeah, Denver Broncos. There you go. $145 for the Broncos.
Right.
So we'll get more into
$145
as we get later on into the season, but the prices are dropped. Again, nobody's going to be less than $200 or $20, and no one's more than $200. All rookies that will be drafted are coming in based on their round they were in. If you're first round, you're at 125. If you're rounds 2 through 4, you're 100, and rounds 5 through 7, you are $75.
75. Yep, and that is the same as last year's as well. I think the only change that we're implementing right now is the $200 max, which I think is going to be helpful not only just for keeping it all, so that you can still gain something when you buy them.
Right, because you wouldn't buy Detroit Lions at $241.
Right.
You wouldn't buy them.
And you might not buy Saquon at $210 or something like that. But if you see that there's a little bit of growth still possible there, because they can go over 200. This is just the starting price.
Now,
when you see the growth, it might be something potentially that people buy.
I'm not trying to.
And additionally, one more thing, just to cut you off.
Go ahead.
But one more thing is that it's gonna help general creeping of numbers up and up and up and up. So this way is gonna stop that as well.
Yeah. It will exactly. Just so you know, the sophomore slump. I forgot what his numbers were for last year, but C.J. Stroud was, I think, in the 150-ish range. He's currently at $69. So Jaden Daniels, who's at $149 this year.
Is that where C.J. Stroud started last year?
Pretty close to that.
I was about to say, that might be very similar.
It's very similar. So, all right. So go ahead and play the outro music, Pablo. Let's get us out of here.
Absolutely.
So, as always, we want to thank our sponsors, 123go.io and Tabby Entertainment. New logo, ExtremeFF.com.
Yep. Right up in there.
Yeah, so there's that, and our logo no longer has the L. Make sure you click, follow, like, subscribe, ring that bell, and all those wonderful things that usually Paul said, but I'm trying to fill in his space here now, so that's awesome. And thank you again, Paul, for having an awesome first year of being in podcasting with me.
Oh, yeah?
I appreciate it. Looking for some great things coming up. And
absolutely.
As I always close out, when life gives you a chance, you make it happen. Peace. See ya.